Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my little podcast, 5 Minutes of Authenticity with Preetha. I'm your host, and I also am a certified life coach. And I like to share my valuable insights that I receive from talking to people as they work towards reaching their authentic selves. I am an authenticity life coach, and so the discussions that I am fortunate enough to have with the individuals I work with and generally people I talk to are very insightful. And every month I pick a theme and we go deeper into it every week. This month, our theme has been the art of closure, given we are closing off the year. And today's episode, we talk about not what we have kept with us or what remains, not what we are letting go, which were our themes for the last 2 weeks. And thank you if you have been listening to and have come back to this space, and welcome if you're new. Today, we talk about the in between, making peace with the ambiguity. Today, I welcome you to sit with me in the in between. Because you know what, friends? It doesn't matter whether a year comes to a close or your birthday happens to be on a certain day of the year. There are no neatly tied bows in most of our lives' endeavors. Not every chapter ends with clarity, and it is smart to accept that most chapters won't. Some linger, some blur, some whisper, some we let go, some we carry. But it is, I think of it as a relationship that faded, but not with a conflict, not with this huge fight, but with silence. And for a long time, and I've been, fortunate to write and blog and share for a long time. I used to be a very black and white person, but then as I aged, I realized life is indeed in the fun shades of gray. And I've honestly come to the conclusion that some stories they just don't resolve. Instead, they evolve. They evolve from a place of confusion to a place of clarity because you have let it happen. I don't always share behavioral or scientific insights, but this particular study, which is called the Zeigarnik effect, which is named after a Lithuanian Soviet psychologist, Bluma Zeigarnik, was first identified in the 1920s. And it's a very interesting study. She observed that the waiters in a restaurant could remember orders that had not yet been paid but would forget them once the payment was made. This led her to conduct experiments demonstrating that unfinished tasks create a cognitive tension. And so basically, friends, what that translates into normal life is that when something isn't resolved or something that hasn't found closure, we tend to linger with it in our heads. It's human nature. That does happen. So that's one part of the equation. There is another study that was done by William Bridges. It's called the Bridges Transition Model. And it outlines a 3-stage psychological process that individuals go through during times of change. So there is an ending, there's an ending, there is a losing and letting go. Then there is a neutral zone and a new beginning. So these are certain stages. So first you realize the end, then you realize the loss, you let go, then you go through the stage of a neutrality, and then you have a new beginning. So the model focuses on the internal human experience of change and differentiates it from the external change itself. So the first stage involves acknowledging and accepting the loss. The second change within ourselves is to go through that period of uncertainty and confusion. And the third of that internal change is the acceptance and embracing new way of doing things. So when I think of these two studies in tandem, what that means is from the first study by Zeigarnik, it shows that unfinished tasks or unresolved conversations linger in our minds. And therefore, they create ambiguity. But also, once we are able to name that ambiguity, it helps us to soften the grip and we are able to let go of it or or accept the fact that if we truly want this to become a space of closure, then we need to slowly let this go and embrace a new way of doing things. So, sitting with that ambiguity that you're facing currently, this month maybe, or you have for some time, it is like a transition that reminds us that there is this neutral zone between the space of ending something and starting something. And that neutrality, that place of ambiguity can be one of two things for you, friends. And it's always a matter of choice, right? You can either sit and fester, or you can create a fertile ground for transformation. So, what is the ambiguity you are learning to live with? What are some truths in your life that are still gray, but you know they will neither be black nor be white? And how is that in between place becoming your teacher? Something to think about. We will continue with the art of closure next week. Until then, thank you for your kind presence in this space. This is Preetha with 5 minutes of authenticity. Thank you.